Hello, and welcome to Ms. PM Reads Christian Content, where we are continuing in, it's kind of hard to read in red, Abscond by GG Wagner. In our last video, Gwen and Mark took Lyzee to a Bible college, and she's going to be staying with a friend of theirs. And she met a new friend at the very end of the chapter, a new girl named Finley. And that brings us to the next chapter, which is graduation. So in the last chapter, she was just getting there. This chapter is graduation. The roundness seemed to emerge overnight. It must be this material, Lyzee thought, as the pile on her bed mounted and she reached for yet another dress to try. Later, Lyzee rocked forward, flattening the material around the baby bump in an attempt to read the numbers on the scale. Her eyes widened in disbelief. Saying the number out loud didn't make it seem any more real. 2 more pounds. Staring at her reflection, turning to reveal each angle, Lyzee studied how the material flowed over her midsection. Giving her belly a disgusted pat, she picked up her backpack, turning back to the mirror for the final inspection. It'll have to do. On the way down the steps, Lyzee forced air into her lungs. She coaxed a smile onto her lips, trying to find just the right one to mask the dread in her heart. She heard the clank of plates being stacked, assuming Gwen must be unloading the dishwasher. She popped her head through the doorway, hoping her voice was portraying the right amount of cheerfulness. Good morning. Gwen's eyes sparkled as she assessed Lyzee's outfit. You look so pretty. Are you ready for today? She asked. Lyzee could hear the emotion in her voice, knowing she must be thinking about Rory too. Oh, it's high school, maybe graduation. Okay, we'll keep going. I keep trying to guess ahead what's going to happen. Okay, today was just another milestone to endure without her, and Lyzee wasn't sure if she could bear it. Remembering her surprise, she ran down the hall to the office, her eyes swimming with tears as she reached for the photo collaged cap. Mark and Gwen were still in the kitchen when she returned, not sure what to say as she clutched it in her hands. I hope this is okay. Mark and Gwen hovered over her, looking at the decorated cap. Rory's smiling face next to hers had been the most natural thing in the world, making it hard to believe she wasn't really here for this. There was a group embrace and warm tears fell on the top of Lyzee's head. She pulled away, searching their faces. Does this make you too sad? I could tell Mrs. Purser I lost it. I'm sure she would give me a new one. This makes us happy. Because of you, her memory is still alive, Gwen said. Hey, this is from the first time you went with us to Camden Park, Mark said. Lyzee smiled at the image of 2 carefree girls, her eyes blurred with memories so full of life and joy. Gwen disappeared behind the refrigerator door, then emerged with a bouquet of blue-tipped white roses. They were the perfect representation of Samuel's Gate Senior High School colors. She handed them to Lyzee. Reaching in yet again, Gwen emerged, cradling another bouquet in the crook of her arm, the plastic draping around the delicate, pure white blooms like a baby blanket. With a tenderness in her eyes, she gazed at the bouquet, making Lyzee feel as if she could see her heart. The motherly love there made her question the decision of adoption for the 1,000th time. She looked away, desperate to shift her attention away from these uncomfortable feelings. The mail lying on the counter in a discouraged heap caught her attention. Flipping through, she discovered cards addressed to her. While searching the names, her eyes scanned the penmanship. Have you heard anything from my mom? I sent her an invitation. I'm sorry, Lyzee, Gwen said. Not sure how she was going to hide her disappointment, Lyzee squirmed. She slid her finger beneath the flap to open a card from Danny and Tara. Her spirits lifted instantly as she read the messages, one in Tara's meticulous print, and the other so obvious it was from Danny. Even in his writing, you could feel his hurriedness. Mark appeared in the doorway, an expression of sadness hidden behind his smile that made her think of the meme, Hide the Pain, Harold. I've never seen that one. He began to speak in a low, husky voice. If you lovely ladies are ready, it's about time to go. Lyzee stared out the window at the dark cloud. Its very presence affirmed the impending sense of doom that hovered over her. This is supposed to be a joyous occasion to celebrate, but how could she be happy? Rory is gone and never coming back. Then there was the whole pregnancy thing, she thought. She jerked her head up when the car came to a stop. The auditorium loomed ahead, looking larger and more ominous than it had when she'd been here for rehearsal just a few days ago. A couple of guys dressed in dress slacks and crisp button-up shirts passed the car, leaving a trail of cologne she'd smelled at the mall when she and Rory were in Abercrombie and Finch. No, not Finch. Fitch, no N. She bent down at Gwen's rolled window to accept the bouquet of flowers and tried to smile. The effort forced and vacant. Let's get this over with, she thought. The hair on Lizzie's arms stood on end. The energy in the room was buzzing. Her head jerked as the heavy metal doors slammed shut behind her. The voices seemed to be echoing in a uniform high-pitched hum. She felt an object float past her head, stirring up a wind and disturbing a strand or two of loose hair. A shadowy form, a mixture of varying shades of gray, was approaching, but Lyzee could not see. A forceful thud surprised her enough to pull her from this disassociative state. She shook her head, trying to focus on the boy that approached, trying to capture a nearby football. That ball got away from me. Sorry, he said, grinning sheepishly. I think we could blame Caleb. He's a little off today. The grin disappeared. I'm sure you are a bit too. I'm sorry, Lyzee. She was a sweet girl. Lyzee murmured something reassuring, and he took off with his ball, looking down at her belly, then around the room. Her eyes darted in no particular direction to see if anyone had noticed. Lyzee mumbled under her breath. Whose bright idea was it to tape the sign on the first seat in each row anyway? A sudden heat radiated up her neck, and she just wanted to find her seat. All she just wanted, was to find her seat. A vast assemblage of excited students cluttered the aisle, making it impossible to get close enough to see. Giving up, she stood back, trying to get a good look at the room, her eyes falling on a row of several empty chairs. The open seats were between Sierra Gibson and Liam Jones. At least she knew where she was going. Now, to get there. Finally settling in her seat, Lyzee was assaulted almost immediately by the annoying and privileged Sierra. Hi, Lyzee. I'm so excited. I just can't stand it. My party is going to be at the country club. I hope the ceremony doesn't take too long. I just want to party the night away, she said. Lyzee smiled. Well, at least she hoped that is what came across. She was relieved to have to end the conversation when Bailey approached. Lyzee stood, reaching across the cold metal folded chair to give the girl a hug. Her mind was racing, knowing it was going to be tricky executing such a feat without her belly coming into contact with the chair or Bailey. Hey, how are you holding up? Bailey asked. Lyzee felt her mouth go dry, her ears hypersensitive as she stared at the girl. How could she know about Rory being your best friend and all? Bailey said, this must be a tough day for you. So it sounds like she's still hiding the pregnancy, even though apparently that's not too easy. Mrs. Purser, taking her place behind the podium, began speaking to the crowd. Lyzee looked at Bailey with an apologetic grimace, taking her seat as Bailey scurried to find hers. It took only a minute or two for the silence to fall over the room, with all of the students eager to hear the instructions. Lyzee watched as the seats emptied in the rows ahead of her, the student body executing a perfectly alphabetized line, moving in unison towards the double doors. Pomp and circumstance blasted as they marched into the auditorium. Missing Rory more than ever, Lyzee struggled to keep her composure as the grief washed over her heart. She focused on the back of Sierra's sandals, doing her best to keep the right amount of distance. Lyzee, Lyzee, Lyzee. She looked up into the crowd until she found where the voices were coming from. Spotting the smiling faces of Danny, Tara, Gwen, and Mark, and other families she recognized from church, Lyzee gave a quick little wave and couldn't help but smile back. The chanting ceased, or maybe the music drowned them out. Lyzee's mood became somber once more when she made the turn into the center aisle, each step taking her closer to the spotlighted white chair in the row ahead. The music faded as she approached, a sad quiet falling over the auditorium. She looked down at the flowers, cradled in the crook of her arm, the pure white petals glowing under the lights. Lyzee's fingers felt numb as she fumbled with the bouquet, the stiff cellophane wrap echoing in her ears as she began arranging the stems on Rory's graduation gown. Angel wings attached to the chair's back, made of delicate feathers, fluttered in the breeze of her movements, bringing the tears she had been suppressing to the surface. Regaining her composure, she focused on the synchronized applause that began slowly and built to a tumultuous roar. Baritone voices all around her boomed Rory's name, and a smile appeared behind her tears. Wow, that's sad. Okay. Teenage years, high school can be tough sometimes. Yeah. All right. I hope you're enjoying this story. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.